welcome back to Gloves Up, episode episode 4. And we got Wheat back finally. He was out doing I don't know, God knows what. Well, actually he was fat and he actually lost a lot of weight, and now he's back and ready to beat up little kids in VR again. How are you doing? What?
Yeah, I'm fucking with you. I was pretending I'm not gonna be. No, I'm good. I'm back. I was not fat. I was getting there. Um, I was going through a
I
depression
ruined
stage.
his life.
That's
I got
why.
him back in VR. He had to leave.
Yeah,
Fix his life
I
again.
finally got my controller. Like I can do things now. So
Yeah,
I was like, I might as
I
well
don't have
come
to
back.
get the grab gun and I don't have to bring it up here anymore.
Yeah,
Kind of
I
upsetting.
wasn't even expecting it to
Memories.
come today. Like I completely forgot about it, and it's funny. The second I forget about it, it comes. Um,
Yeah, it's funny because the whole time I've been talking, you haven't really brought up anything about the controller, which is it was kind of unique. Is it usually
no, yeah, I forgot about
whenever
it.
we'd speak, half the time it'd usually be about something in real life or it'd be about wrecking. And then we've been only been
Yeah.
speaking about real life for like the past 3 months now. But
Yeah. Has it been 3 months? Stopped
uh,
fighting in like this before December, maybe November. No, it
it
was
was
after
around
December.
it was around the time me and the babies fought a little after.
So you mean October, November?
Oh yeah, jeez, that's already almost 5 months. There's no way. That match is already like close to half a year ago, which is kind of insane.
That is weird.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it feels like just yesterday we were promoting it.
I wasn't promoting it. I don't promote things. But no, yeah, I'm back. Hopefully to
Um,
fight people.
yeah, it depends how it goes. But yeah. So one thing we were talking about earlier, you brought up something. I don't know if you want to speak about it yet, but I mean, I'm sure you'd want the specific person that's about to hear it, and who knows if they'll watch the whole video, unless you do timestamps, if you edit this. But it's
I
really
do
up to you.
timestamp. Did you not timestamp the other video? It's a
No,
pain in the
we
ass.
don't have an editor.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
have
right.
no way.
Time stamping those videos is because you literally have to rewatch the entire thing again.
Yeah.
And listening to what you're talking about, like, okay, that conversation ended, adding a new timestamp. I didn't like doing it.
uh,
But nah, I'd do it again if I needed to. What are you talking about though? What thing?
you said the 2-2 thing.
Oh yeah, you mean about H2O?
Yeah, you want to talk about
uh,
that?
yeah, I can mention it. I can add it early on so that the people who care
Yes, so
can
people
listen to it
actually
now.
so they see it.
Yeah. No, the H2O thing was that so my record with H2O, so I've believed, has always been 1-2 in
One
his
or two.
favor.
Yeah.
I beat him in PBC. He's beaten me in I think BBL and FNL. I think those are the two
Yeah.
times he beat me. Or did he beat me in BBL twice? I can't remember. Either way, he beat me
No,
in
only
those
once.
two. I only won once. But he mentioned something. This was before I went on the break. That technically I've beaten him before in. He said the league. I can't remember the league. I sent you the photo. I'm actually gonna, since I edit this, I'm gonna post the photo here. It's the only photo I have of this
It's not
arena.
going to be there. It's not
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
there.
there.
How much you want to bet
It's
you're not
gonna
going to
be.
put it there?
Shut
Your
up.
hand's just going to be up here. There's a picture of a anything right here.
But
Just put anything.
the Binky and like one of his friends took a photo of them holding PBC belts, but it's not PBC or related. I could have swore like it was Terminator Boxing League or GBL or something like that. It was an old FNL
Terminator.
arena.
Wait, hang on 1 second. 1 second. Terminator boxing. Is that an older league?
Yeah, like really old.
I have to talk to Alex. Cause back in PBC, I don't. You weren't really like paying attention. Really, you were kind of there. We were speaking a little bit, but not much. Alex created his own league called Terminator Boxing League. It was his league. He said it was a brand new league. It started in like probably like July or something, and it had one event, but he called it Terminator Boxing League, and I thought it was the first ever. So I thought you were speaking about that, which only like had one event, but then apparently he must have just copied it from something. Oh yeah, it was
Maybe
Goatnators League.
I might be smoking some. Yeah, I could have
Yeah,
swore
yeah,
Goatnator
because he
ran
mentioned
this league.
yeah he mentioned it, and then he said people were going off on him because they were saying that he stole Goatnators League, but I forgot
Yeah.
completely forgot about that. But yeah, continue.
Old TBL then.
Yeah,
And the league, the actual room wasn't bad. It wasn't great either. It was just kind of like a weird weird room. But no, H2O had mentioned that I've beaten him there. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't remember it until he talked about it. Very, very briefly, he talked about it. Then over this past couple of months when I've been thinking about Rec Room, I remembered. And yeah, I beat him. So I was the champion of that league. Um, champion of that league because I think the first time I fought, it was for the championship. Whoever owned it asked me if I just wanted to fight for the championship. And this is at the time, I'm beating everybody, absolute goat, Okay. So that's just what they did. Some random person would start a league, ask the top people, "Hey, do you want to fight for the championship?"
Yeah,
You'd
that's actually
fight
what I
like,
did when I. Sorry to interrupt, but back before you started, well, not before you started. It was
before I
while you were
started. Yeah,
gone.
yeah,
No, it was while you were gone the first time, and I hadn't even met you yet. I started a league called OMBL. You most people probably know it. Maybe it was supposed to start,
yeah.
and I had three
OMBL.
divi OMBL, Omega Boxing League, and it was supposed
Uh,
to have divisions. It was supposed to be like BBL, except they had three. It was for like really low fighters like AMJ and Elam Adam, and then mid tier
yeah.
like Rave and Dustin, and then top tier like the babies and Pete. And it didn't even have an event. Yeah, and then I I had the world title, and then at the time I thought Lex, Pizza Man, the babies, and Shaggy were the best fighters because that's just the babies hyped up Shaggy, and then Rave. I
Yeah.
mean not Rave. The babies, Pizza Man, and Lex were obviously already the top three fighters, and I made a four-person tournament for the world title there, and I was begging in their messages like, please fight for this, and it was yeah, I put Zane. The biggest mistake, I put Zane at the mid tier, which was called the All Star division, and I put him in a match against like Dustin or something. Like I didn't know he was good at the time, so apparently I was putting one of the greatest of all time in a mid tier division, and then I realized like 5 months later I was like, what am I smoking? But yeah, continue because I kind of relate on the giving top fighters world title opportunity.
Oh yeah, you just give them the fight and that's what you do.
Yeah.
No, but in what I think it was Goat Naders League. I think it's TBL. I'm supposed to fight somebody. I don't even know who the fuck I was supposed to fight. Um, but then the person doesn't show up, and they ask H2O, who was eh, called Game Destroyer, and then it was like 420 or something like that was his name at the time. They asked him. This is like before he became Water Boy, to fight me for it. And he's like, he said yes. And so we fought. I beat him, um, and I mean I got the title. But he told me that it was a what are those matches that don't count?
Exhibition.
Exhibition. He told me when he first told me this that it was an exhibition match. He didn't mention that it was for the title. But now that I've thought about it, I remember it. And I'm almost
And you won that.
95% certain it was for the title, and I definitely won it. He said
I
that
feel
I
like
won it.
an exhibition win against a show is still like a win basically to be completely fair. So I mean, it's actually well, and especially if
But
it's for a title, that kind of like
if it's for the title, it can't be an exhibition, is what I'm
you
thinking.
can't have an exhibition for a world title.
And
It's like
even
Floyd
if it was
Mayweather.
short
Wait,
notice,
yeah.
even if it was short notice for him to fight, and he still accepted it. Therefore, if I'm correct about this, I could be wrong. I could be smoking crack and just be talking out of my ass. But if everything I'm saying is true, then technically me and his record is 2-2, which means I'm the only person to have a tied record with H2O. Not positive, not negative, just tied record. Nobody else
That's
has
fair.
that. Therefore, I'm the greatest of all time, and everyone's ranking should put me at number one. uh, I
I feel
would,
like
if this is true and we are tied, I want to fight again technically because that would be sick to have you just
yeah,
have one up on him.
yeah. That would be like a UBA thing. If UBA really blasts off, that'd be cool because I want a new base because I'll tell this story because you never really figured out like how I got in my position. Back in
No.
uh what was it, February, a little, it was around February, February, March. Carlos had um gotten the baby's banned, and then we went through this
Yeah.
whole thing, got his account back, luckily, and then P was around PBC 12 because I remember an announcement being made. Said, sorry, PBC 12 was the last event. That would have been a huge upset, by the way. That would have been god awful. PBC 12 ended the everything. But anyways, um, we ended up getting them unbanned, and then PBC was, um, the at first the excuse was by the babies. The babies actually just he was just getting his life together and stuff. Just didn't have time anymore, which is understandable. But I didn't really know that at the time because he was telling me it was because PBC was losing too many members, but it wasn't actually losing members. It was just random accounts, like alt accounts,
Yeah.
random people that just joined from like sponsorships and stuff. So in all realness, I had like 120 fighters and then like 280 just members of the server.
Members. Yeah.
Um, so he said once it got below 300, he was going to quit. And then I'm getting into this, and I'm like, I'm enjoying it. I told the reason in the announcement I made earlier, thanking everybody. I kind
Yeah.
of needed something like to come home and enjoy and like look forward to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so you end this, I'm killing myself. No,
Yeah.
no, but no. And then I talked to him. I was like, you should really continue, or you should give it to somebody else. Me and Todd weren't in the best position, and he was saying I couldn't make Todd the owner, and I was saying don't do that, and don't do that because um he at the time he was more focused on his career rather than anything, so he wasn't the most non-biased.
Yeah.
And I went to bed one night. I wake up the next morning, like 80 pings, and
Yeah.
Cesaro and Todd are the new owners. Uh, Todd, who doesn't have the best history when it comes to running leagues, really, just because how much of an active fighter he really was rather than a league owner. He had GBL,
Yeah.
but that ended. Um, and then Cesaro, who uh, he he kind of agreed, but he was also he could barely run HBC because he was quitting that, and then he was slowly retiring. And then um, Cesaro just he couldn't do it, and then Todd PBC was too big of a league for him to run on his own, and I think he'll admit that now because he needs more help when it comes to running leagues. I'm built different. I don't need help. uh,
Builder.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I need help, but I was an admin, and then I was doing more work than basically the owners were, just as an admin, and then this was all around PBC 15. And then Cesaro relinquished the title. Todd, the CEO, became the PBC champion, and I ended up getting ownership along with him. And then me and Todd, we still had our heat going, so it wasn't PBC was going good. I don't know. I'm like lining up the line, like the green, like you know the green line that comes out of the pointer finger. I'm kind of just lining it up
Yeah.
with with like the white
Oh.
stripes, just just for fun. But anyways,
No, I'm like thinking like, what the fuck is he pointing
no, basically, PBC, I ended up becoming the owner, the main owner, and
I'm not doing
and,
it.
uh, and then they kept going off and on, making other people owners because people weren't the biggest fan of what I was doing because they didn't like the risks I was taking, and I did make a couple bad decisions. I'll admit now.
Well, I learned a little bit about this in it's the episode that's unreleased with me, you, Zane, and the baby is the whole
He
drama
extre-
that happened.
he what's the word? Extravagated. No,
uh,
what's it called?
no, the fuck is the
I
word?
don't know what.
I know what you're meaning. It's like
Yeah,
it makes
it's
more
not just me.
dramatic.
Like that's, yeah, more dramatic. And
I don't know what that word
it
is.
wasn't that bad. It was more. Always so OMBL. I didn't start because I wanted, because I got the opportunity to run PBC, and I was given the opportunity to 3 months in my career run the biggest league in all of record boxing. So I mean, who wouldn't take up that opportunity? Well, actually, most people probably wouldn't because that's a lot of work. But I mean, I guess I wanted to.
Yeah,
And then OMBL,
power
I wanted to
hungry.
start. No, no. I just wanted to do things no other leagues were doing, and PBC was already up to like 15 events, and nothing was really changing except for like the growth of the league,
Yeah,
and it
I
record
mean,
like the community was already almost like about to die if I hadn't stepped in because PBC was going to end, FNL was ending, and BBO already wasn't active, and I kind of wanted to change it up so people were more excited and actually wanted to do it more. Because not only
yeah,
was the babies, it wasn't just the reason it wasn't dying. It wasn't just because the babies was leaving. It was because people were getting bored. They were doing it for already like 2 years and stuff. So
yeah,
I wanted to change it up, the merge leagues was he won't he, the babies won't give me credit for it, but it was both of our ideas. I guess because why not
Like
to
what?
merge leagues. Uh, so we had ABL, CBL, GBL, which didn't start. We had like 8 different leagues inside of PBC while I was on there, and we had so much going on. And then
By
I
merge,
remember
do you mean like there's
it
sub
was
leagues in the thing, or is it all under
yeah
one thing?
in the
There's
server,
no
and then they'd
longer
get
ABL, no longer anything else. It's all
no,
just
it was
PVC.
sub leagues, but PBC was the biggest. So like it was big leagues inside of the biggest league, which kind of
Yeah,
like grew like one big community, which was one of the most beneficial decisions I think we made in all of 2022.
yeah.
And I ended up the thing that really clicked it was the babies. No, the babies wasn't. Pizza Man hadn't gotten rid of them yet. I wanted to promote um, a league called PTP, Primetime Promotions, which was Rave's league, and he wanted to create a new league rather than ABL, which I was a big fan of, and I wanted to sponsor it and give it more members because me and Rave were on good terms at the time. We're still on decent terms now, obviously, because I just let everything slide because I don't really care that much anymore. But the thing was, Carlos was in the league, and um, so
Carlos.
and I didn't immediately sponsor. I asked permission from Pizza Man. I didn't ever ask for permission once, but then I realized that was a kind of a big thing. We had one of the worst people in the community
Yeah.
in the league. Um, so I was like, all right, is it fine? Because it's not like he was gonna join PVC. But honestly, I'm glad they stopped me from this because, well, I guess it didn't really change much because he did come back at some point. But
Yeah.
uh, I didn't get to that promotion, and I was kind of getting sick because like I was doing all the work for PVC. I was running the leagues, hosting the events, and everything, and yet I still had people above me that weren't doing anything anymore, which was Pizza Man and Samurai. And I wanted to be equal with them in terms of power because I wanted to have as much of a say as they did. Because like I
Power
didn't want to be
hungry. Yeah, yeah.
no, I just didn't. I didn't want to be like bossed around while I'm
You
doing all
want to
the
be
work,
like
you know.
you want to be king and rule everything. No, I get what you're talking
No,
about.
I was fine with being
You
like
wanted the iron fist to smash down your
I
subordinates.
wanted there to be 3 kings. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wanted there to be three people, and I didn't mind having as much say as them, but I didn't want to be. That's like imagine Mamba was running WBE, and I was just above him, and I was telling him
Uh-uh.
what he can do and what he can't. You know, that just. I feel like that's
So you
understandable.
wanted to
Like
be
if you would have been
above
in there.
Pizza Man and Samurai, and you just wanted to tell them
That is
what to do.
not what I. Okay, moving on from that part. Anyways, uh, I ended up
I feel like this
uh.
shines a bad light on your personality.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because okay, Samurai gets back. He gets unbanned from PVC. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, and then he comes back, makes a bunch of changes, basically resets all my work, which well, the bad parts of it, uh,
Chad move. That was pretty cool.
and uh, and I got annoyed because it was the day I like wasn't like paying attention to PVC. Like I was out doing something. I think I went on a trip to strip. No, I was at my grandpa's. I was helping him with something. I came back.
Ah,
Everything's reset. People were going crazy. People were leaving PVC, and then I was like, all right, I'm sick of this. I want to start a new league, and I wanted there to be a league where everything was reset. Uh, everybody that was banned got to come back in. You know how that went. Um,
I don't.
oh,
Oh, yes, I do.
well then I'll.
Yes, I do.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And then
They
WBE
mentioned that.
starts. WBE becomes practically as big as PBC, and PBC ends up dying. Like I say, it's kind of when I leave, and then um,
Assassinated after PVC 20.
yeah, and then no PBC 20 I guess did happen, but it was 4 matches. It was Todd versus Keeble for the BMF title, while Keeble was on one leg because his ankle was broken. Phantom versus
I don't remember
uh
Phantom.
I don't even know who we fought. There was like 3 4 matches that they all sucked.
Oh,
Um, anyways, the full WBE thing starts, and then I'm
yeah.
officially basically the owner of not only WBE but Record Boxing in general because I there's FNL, BBL, and stuff. I was basically doing about everything, and then
Yeah.
um it just became like a lot of work because I was running everything, and I kind of knew what it was like to want to run a league and like just have that power and like be able to do whatever and just have fun with it. But then I also knew what it was like to be told you can't, and then like it
Yeah.
kind of had limits and then not one to have limits, which is why the attention is turned to Prod and Todd, who's kind of in the middle. He's kind of good at he's good at running leagues, but he needs help. And I want to build Prod to be the next me or Samurai because it kind of wants Samurai than me, and I kind of want Proud to be the next person, which is why I'm
Yeah.
giving him the chance to run UBA with Todd and me overlooking
Oh,
it, and
that's the one where everything's merging.
yeah, everything's coming together.
How is that coming actually? Oh, sorry, distracted.
It's going. We're getting it situated. I want everything. I was considering resetting, just using the WBE server and fixing everything there. But then WBE has so much history in that server. I kind of just want to let that stay where it is, and
Yeah.
I'll just have everybody have to rejoin UBA and stuff. But
Yeah, definitely don't delete
um,
any of the records or match history and
yeah,
stuff like
because
that. I'm gonna
I
go
didn't
in and
I didn't expect WBE to like I always said WBE was gonna become the biggest thing, but I never like actually believed like oh crap I was right because it kind of
does
became
ABL have
like
more members right now?
server members, but that's like it's like like when PBC had like 300 server members, and then FNL was still like it wasn't like PBC was
Yeah.
bigger than FNL. It was just
Yeah,
just
I
had
get
way
you.
more server members. So I don't ever count server members over actual fighters.
Active fighters. Yeah,
So yeah, in my opinion, WBE is the biggest league of the second half of 2022.
the GOAT.
Um, yeah, and
That's not true. I think WB is great. It's not the GOAT of recommend boxing leagues.
oh no,
It's
no,
good though.
it's not the GOAT. It's good. I think PBL. It goes PBL,
Oh yeah,
PBC, and
yeah. I think BBL just has to take it. I mean, it's the OG. It's the
I'd
champs. It
argue
started.
WBE is the fourth best league, just because
BBL, PBC. What's third?
FNL. I'd say FNL because
Yeah, I'd give
FNL
it to FNL.
brought in so many fighters
Yeah.
like so much of it wouldn't have existed without FNL. So like I'd even be
Prime
fine with
FNL
like
was
FNL
crazy.
being number one. Like I can't because I feel like if WB had started way earlier, it it would have started, but then also WB like was a mix of the fighters that were brought in from FNL and other leagues and stuff, and then it was also a spin-off of PBC, so it wouldn't really make sense if it was above every other league. And
No,
BBL
no, that
just
makes sense.
BBL's BBL. It started everything, so
Yeah,
I'm fine with it being fourth because I think it's as great as it could be. But anyways,
yeah,
off topic a little bit. So UBA, we want it to be the second era. We want everything within the past 3 years to be considered one era or split into whatever. But everything starting past now, we want to be reset. We want everybody's record to be reset. All-time records will still exist. So like if you're a fighter in era one, you can still
yeah,
combine it with era two and stuff. It just really whatever.
bitch.
And we just we also one thing I was talking with Nick it was Samurai about it was
Yeah, yeah.
about um making it more realistic. We already got the six realistic world titles. We were thinking about should I announce it right? Yeah, I guess it might as well because it's not confirmed yet. But everybody starting at the same level of popularity, and they all start there, and then you work your way up in terms of arenas. We'd start in uh like small like warehouses, boxing events and stuff. And you work your way up,
Ooh.
and it goes into like a decent sized arenas and then you go into like stadiums and stuff like big like you weren't there for WBE 31, but we had a
No.
massive stadium and
Wow, that's really cool. That's a really cool
yeah,
idea, actually.
and then like it's like the indie fighter or amateur fighters, and then it goes to like fighters working their way up, and then it's like consider like let's say like Pineda, uh, and get like
Panera?
a Pineda, like the crappy Mexican boxer, real life.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, well we'll just say
I can picture a crappy
very
little Mexican boxer
very
like this
small
tall.
like low tier fighters fighting like warehouses, gyms and stuff,
Yeah.
and then you get up a little bit. You're fighting in decent places like pay-per-views and stuff, and then you get up there and then like pretend like H2O like you're fighting like the main event of like the biggest events and stuff, and then it would also make change for event sizes. It wouldn't have like 20 matches on one card, which would save us so many time.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't like having big matches. I
yeah,
never liked having a lot of big match cards.
I never did till well I always did until I started hosting, and I
Yeah.
was the one having to sit through 4 hour events.
Yeah,
uh,
I always thought like 5 matches was nice. 4 to 5 was my sweet spot.
yeah,
I was
which
okay
is
with
why
six
FNL.
sometimes, but more than six, like once you start getting into 14 fighters, like you have to count on 14 people. For example, that's 7 matches, 7 or 14 people showing up on time on the date. It's always like
Yeah,
finicky.
yeah, but basically we want UVA to be a realistic, fun league where old fighters can even come back if they want and enjoy. It's not the same thing anymore. And
Yeah.
I want all the history to be remembered and stuff. I don't want fighters forgetting like people like King and like King Karen Jones, like
The
11-year-old
new guy?
Australian kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm almost certain we're talking about the same guy. I saw him before I went on my like
Yeah,
little break.
he's a good example of forgetting like or just not knowing stuff. Like, thank you. Uh, that's not
What
good.
the fuck was that?
Why did you just high five me?
Dude,
It
my
reminded
hand
it
shot
reminded me of
off
that
and it
train. It reminded me of that train we have
oh
at the table.
yeah. It
Uh,
shot off and then slowly high-fived you and then slowly came back into position.
I remember that train was annoying Zane when sitting right there,
Oh yeah, Zane didn't like
crossed
the
by.
train.
But
What the
yeah,
fuck is
basically,
it coming around the table?
uh, to end that, we just want UVA to be a new thing. We want it to be uh, new fighters. Everybody starts at the same level, so you're not like starting at like, oh crap, I want to be all the way up there, but then I have to start all the way down here. We just want it to be like exciting and stuff, and like everybody to
No, I
feel
get
like a
it.
new fighter again. Uh, yeah, that's like kind of how I look at it.
I know there's this thing I was feeling over the 3 month break that I was thinking about. So at the start, like when I first got my controller broken, I stopped fighting. I was like, oh, I really wish I could fight right now. And then it went to, well, now I'm not really thinking about it. I don't really care about the boxing thing. And then I stopped kind of caring altogether. But then it was right after that that I got this feeling of, well, I don't want to like leave the community. Oh, oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
that's kind of the situation I was in. Like, I kind of like the community rather,
I
even
like
if
the
I'm not playing
community. And the thing is,
some of
I
them.
had this like feeling that I want to, what did you say?
I said some of them.
Oh,
My
so,
hand's just
oh
up
yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's on my knee.
No, I thought you were asking for the mic. I just have
Oh,
this feeling of like not wanting to leave until everything's gone. Like if it's still going on, I'll feel like I'm either missing out or I don't know. I just want to be there
yeah.
for it until it's like dead, dead, and I'm okay with if it takes another year or two or even longer. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with it, but my plan is to stick around for as long as it wants to keep going. I don't know if I'll fight eventually. Eventually, I think I'm just gonna get tired of it. Like even now, I was sparring today, which was a lot of fun. Jimmy
Mm.
Gerbil, really good. I like fighting him.
He needs a lot more
Uh,
training. He's kind of really good.
he's really good. A lot of people liked him too. I think they thought he was really good. Um, Crisis says fuck Jimmy. Uh, uh,
No, he's just
he
goofy.
was fun to
I enjoy
fight.
him. I enjoy him like kind of like I enjoy him. They're just both stupid, but they're good to hang around.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't want to leave yet. And the thing, oh, is
Yeah.
H2O leaving? So I knew that
Um.
before I left 4 months ago, he said he was like almost done, and now he's
So the
still
plan
here.
was
So it's like,
Ray was apparently like he was going to be his last fight, and they fought in ABL, and then they went in all 12 rounds. But if you know like ABL events, the lag is god awful and stuff. Like it's terrible. And then ABL obviously isn't the most biased, or
no,
unbiased,
what?
unbiased.
Really?
So H2O
I would
won
have
by
never thought.
round 12 knockout, but then they were
Oh,
accusing H2O of I forgot the word they were accusing him of. Anyways, they were trying to give overturn the
Height
decision and give
glitching?
Rave the
Because
win.
I thought that was a thing for a while. I thought I caught this man height glitching, but I didn't.
No, three
Three
bear
bear
hugs.
hugs.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. So ABL banned bear hugs and stuff, but I mean, you can't kind of like if it's an OG fighter like H2O who doesn't spam bear hugs, you can't limit their bear hugs. If like the new gens were getting out of hand, which is why they got limited. But like
yeah.
people like old fighters, no, because they know how to
I got
handle
no
it.
problems with bear hugs. You can if you do them wrong, like if a fighter comes at you and they're doing the bear hug wrong, you can just counter and hit them with two
Yeah.
hits. It can be free, but it can also just I don't know. I never cared about
But
bear
anyways,
hugs.
Todd became one of the owners of ABL alongside Rave, and that he was trying really hard to, because he obviously doesn't like H2O at all. And
Does
he
he
was
not?
trying to, no, he hates him. He
Oh,
tried
that's funny.
really tried. All tried overturning the decision to Rave, and I kind of told them like no, like Rave lost. That there's a very few universes I think that Rave beats H2O. In all honesty,
Yeah.
uh, it, so it was kind of clear like he won fairly. Like he didn't fight any different against Rave like he did against like Mamba or the babies. Like he
Yeah.
went in, he won, and then he
He beat
left.
him. Yeah.
Anyways, I told him about we could have this one super fight, like because we've had two matches. You were there for our backyard one, which was I got screwed over.
Yes.
Carrito made the ring smaller that first event, and H2O's reach was like across the
Yeah.
entire ring,
Yeah.
and that was so bad. Uh,
That's the
so
same ring that I beat you in, right? It's the same ring I beat you in for the championship. Remember when we did the teams
that
thing and
was
my team
that
won
was
and I
stupid.
beat you
We're not
and I beat
we're,
you
shut up.
for the
No.
for the championship. I beat you like what 4-2. You could have tied it, but you didn't. Yeah, I remember that. It was a pretty good
I'm
match.
pretty sure
Pretty
a retired
one-sided
fighter,
actually.
Angel, beat like what your one of your best fighters on the team, which was someone. So I don't want to hear from you.
Here's the thing about a team is you got me on it, and that's all that matters. Well, everyone else could have lost their match, but as long as I won, I was happy. I didn't give a shit about my team.
It was cool.
Is someone
Anyways,
not here anymore?
no,
Forgot.
he left.
Did he leave?
He
He
like
left. Oh,
permanently left. Like he was one of the few fighters that actually left when I said when I said like he's gone
good
now.
for him. Good
Yeah,
for
I'm
him.
happy with him.
He
Um,
escaped.
I talked to him a little bit every now and then, but anyways, I I wanted there to be one more era-ending fight, kind of like on the same level as Samurai and H2O, the first fight, which is crazy hype from what I know. And I kind of
That's probably one of the
and
most
it
hype
kind of
fights of
made
all time.
sense if it was me and H2O, because H2O obviously the best fighter of all time here now, and
I hate saying it, but the thing it's
yeah,
true,
it
but I
yeah,
hate saying it. I hate even thinking it. It makes me pissed off. I
and
hate
then
fighting it. He's easy. He's ass. I don't fucking talk about it.
and then me, which is kind of the um one of the like I kind of like was similar to the baby's career, so like it kind of made sense if like uh, uh Samurai was swapped to Hitman and then H2O versus me, so it kind of
I
made
get it.
sense for that to be the mega fight, which is we're still gonna redo that here. Oh yeah, here. Anyways, I'll finish this and then I'll tell you what happened with the fight. Uh, so
Fuck it.
anyways,
This is going over here.
the hype for that fight, it 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 met what I wanted it to. We had the trailer, we
Yeah.
had the posters and everything.
That
It
trailer
went
was
pretty crazy.
sick. That's
Oh
you
yeah,
showing the
the shout
trailer.
out
That
to
trailer was
John Wick,
hard.
aka Panetta, for that because that was freaking
Yeah.
amazing. It,
As a shout out.
yeah, and he made it while most of the time while he was sick, which is tons of respect.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Here's a
what
short
happened with
clip
the fight?
from it right here. No.
Yeah, this is not gonna be. I don't even think this is gonna be the picture you were talking about.
There is going to be the picture.
There's not gonna be a picture. But anyways, no, I'm gonna get a text from you like in the morning, and you'd be like, I'm not putting the picture there. Too much work.
Here's
I'm
the
like,
thing.
I told you.
What I want to do is I want to put in like a TV somewhere there that's like green on it so I can just green
We
screen
could do
in
that. Oh,
the
dude,
thing. I think that
we'll have to do that next episode. We're gonna do that. Well,
we'll do
that's
it next
actually
episode. I
a
was thinking
terrific idea.
about this earlier. I was like, that would be sick. And then we can just put
Yes,
like
there's the
images
next
or
episode.
videos.
We're back. Um,
And maybe. We'll see how I feel. Anyway.
you just shut your mouth. Um, oh yeah. So what happened with the fight? It was scheduled for January 28th, I think, which is WB
Okay.
31, which is where I cleared my schedule to do this fight and everything. And then an hour before the event, H2O says he's pulling out because his arm hurts from baseball, which is understandable. But I'm like I'm obvious. I was willing to fight. I
Just
wasn't in the best
you.
condition. I've been working out and stuff like that. I'm sore too, but I guess I guess it makes sense. Baseball, he's been focusing on as
I've
well,
been
and
working
swinging the
out.
bat
I'm
and stuff.
jacked, Cal. Cal, when are you gonna post the full body picture of you like posing, like fucking hitting, ripped out of your mind? I think the audience wants it. Yeah, I give us a timeline.
Uh, I guess we'll see. That's something to talk about later.
Next
uh,
month.
that's not what I said. Anyways, so it doesn't happen on the day I clear my schedule for, and then since I cleared the schedule for one day, the next day I'm obviously gonna have a lot more stuff come up. So we fight on the 29th, which is the day after, I think, right? Wait, yeah, no, yeah.
28th
Um,
plus 1 is 29.
no, I
I
was
think
thinking
you
if
are
it happened on
correct.
the 29th. I didn't know if it happened on a different day.
Oh,
It just wasn't clicking.
thought you were
But
having trouble
yeah,
doing
it
math.
happened the day after, and then uh, he tells me 45 minutes before I have to go, and I was like, okay, we can do this fight real quick, and it was a perfect amount of time for a 12 round, but then um a 12 round fight because I expected it not to end by knockout because I planned on playing defensive, winning by rounds more than likely, and then going in for
Yeah,
knockout if it came to that.
the cowards
Anyways,
play. No, I'm joking. It's strategy. It works.
I also set up a terrific entrance. I had jets in the above the stadium and stuff.
Yeah.
Just amazing. It was perfect.
Was this
Also,
recorded?
thank you to MJ. I don't know if the entrance. Uh, I have to see.
Is the
I have
fight
to ask.
recorded?
The the fight was recorded. I think. I don't know.
Good.
I'll have to look. But anyways, the babies just keeping score of the rounds. It ended by knockout in the 10th round. But here I'll tell you what the rounds were at the end.
Oh.
It was 6-4 in my favor. And
Ooh.
anyways, so before the last round, I'm talking, and I said they keep telling me I gotta go, and I'm like, it like has to be hurry, and I was holding off since the 8th round. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, well, crap, it's too late in the match. I don't think people are gonna believe me if I say I gotta go, and like I don't
Yeah.
want to like, cause people already like taking credit for me. Like I have to try finishing
You
this,
had to finish it.
and then I kind of start having to fight like a little crazy, and then H2O's getting a little annoyed because he's like, dude, I respect you and stuff, but like you're fighting like this, and I kind of felt bad. I like started slowing down and stuff, like, and he started coming in for the knockout, and like I was kind of in a mix because I didn't want to give him a bad ending in his career because he doesn't deserve that,
Yeah.
and but then
He
I
does,
also
but
didn't want to lose by knockout because I had to go, like, and so
yeah.
I ended up stepping on a Christmas ball by my tree, shattered around in my foot, and oh my god, I fell out of the ring like twice, and I ended up losing my knockout. But I mean, I'm not gonna let that be the end of my career, and I think we both wanted a fair match where we're both on ready for it.
A
So I
game.
might yeah, but also directly after that match, I get Mamba. I don't disrespect Brother Mamba anymore because I don't really care as much. But I think it's already known I'm above him, which is I think
Bro.
that's fair to say without sounding egotistical.
I'm the biggest top fighter hater of all time. You name a top fighter, I hate him, bro. The baby's overrated. H2O and Mamba, fucking hate those guys. Ass. Absolutely ass. But I feel like I can do that. A lot of other people can't do that, so I gotta take that role. And I feel happy about it. I love dogging on all of them. All of them.
Well, the thing was when I'd beef with a fighter, I'd end up fighting them. I feel like you just can go
Yeah.
off on whoever you want, and like without a match
Nobody has
happen.
ever had beef with me. It's stupid,
No.
man. I've never had beef with nobody. Never the main character. Always the side character. I'm always the guy who I gotta fight. Like I'm good, but it's like I'm good, but I'm not the best because there's fucking Zane, there's fucking H2O, and then arguably there's the babies. So it's like who am I? I'm just like number 2 or 3. I'm the guy you got to beat in order to be considered good enough to fight the top guy. It's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's
And
fucked up.
anyways, but what I was saying, so after that fight, Mamba says something like, "Well, I guess you're number 7 now." Are you kidding me? I just won 6 rounds and then I had to leave against H2O. And like I basically
Uh,
I was about to win that fight, and you're already putting me all the way at 7. Like that was him putting himself above me immediately, and I'm like, give me time. Like I didn't even get a first breath in. Like after the match ended, like okay, I
yeah,
guess you're number 7, and I don't know where he was putting me. I don't know if he considers himself above me. I never really spoke to him about it because I don't like arguing with him about it because I respect him and stuff. But I mean, well, when we
yeah.
do argue about it, it usually creates like a match about to happen, like it already did for the third fight, which we
Yeah,
didn't end up doing because it just wasn't really worth it. Anyways, I I consider myself. Well, actually, I'll go through. We can talk about the top 10 thing for like an actual topic. But anyways,
yeah,
what I was basically they just immediately like wanted to like because I like lost to the greatest
yeah.
fighter, and that
Stop
puts me back
saying it.
oh, the H2O, and then they start putting me back against like how many spots? I don't even know where he was ranking me, but like
Yeah.
anybody who loses to H2O does not like even if I did lose fairly and stuff, that does not put me back. I do not care what anybody says. And if H2O beats me in the
No,
redo,
it doesn't.
no excuses. Like I would never make an excuse against losing to the number one fight. I just gotta say real quick so people understand. I wouldn't make an excuse like that, like because like that just
Ass.
doesn't make sense. But like
He hasn't
I
beaten me
have a
more.
reason.
Me and him are 2-2 on our record. Just saying. Just
But like when
saying.
I'm winning the rounds and I'm about to beat him, and then I physically have to go and I let him know. So like there is proof like I didn't have much time.
Yeah.
Like I just like I don't want that to be the ending, and I don't think he wants that
Yeah.
either because I feel like that's a disgraceful way to end. Like I feel like especially if he knows he was about to take that loss and I really had to go, I feel like that mixes up for
I'm plug my headset in. Don't worry. Keep talking. I can hear you. I don't. You don't have to stop. Oh fuck! I got big. I don't. Why'd you stop talking? I can't hear you now.
I know.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah, I just this is not the way that I wanted that. I always promised myself my career would end against in a match against either the babies, Zane, H2O, or H2O, the babies, Zane or you. Yeah, you. I don't know. I thought I already said you, but it'd be against one of
No.
those four fighters, and I
You don't
don't
want
want
to
it
do
to end
that,
against
man.
H. Especially like I was
Y-
about to be the third person to beat H2O, and even if it's my
yeah.
decision, it's still a win. Like I went all like he wasn't able to put me down. Like I feel like that's almost as good as a knockout win against him. Like we weren't able to put each other
Oh
down,
yeah.
which will lead into a fourth match, which we both agreed on. So, well, we're either gonna do the redo, or I'm really gonna like count it on my record because I feel like it'd be like a like not a draw, but I guess a no decision just because how that goes, and
No, that's
people
fair.
can go off of me for that being an excuse or whatever, but that's a fact. Yeah,
No,
and
the
I
thing.
would have yeah continue. What are you saying?
The thing about I mentioned this to you earlier because we kind of talked about it. The idea of like you lose a match and you go down, and whether it's all-time rankings, top 100, top 10, whatever the fuck you want to talk about, that's not the case. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
Nobody's looking at H2O's losses, and that's why he's at number one. No one's looking at me like I'm at number third because I lost to H2O. No, no one's saying that. I'm at number third or number fourth, where the fuck you want to put me or anyone else, because of your wins, or your achievements. What have you done? So yeah, if I were to lose to Elam Adam right now, and let's say you put me at number one, I'm just throwing it out there, new gens, because I am. I don't drop to like number nine. That doesn't make any sense. Elam Adam goes up because I mean that's a great stat for his book. But no, you don't go down for losing. I think you can only go down
losing the
if someone
H2O, why
surpasses
I'm
you.
top 20.
Yeah. No, that makes no sense. That's funny though. That's funny that he would say that. That's pretty confident. That's a lot of confidence. I bet he was probably worried that I bet if you beat him, it makes him beating H2O less special. That could be completely false. That's just what I would think. It's not how I feel because 2-2 with him, so
Yeah, it's
you know how that is.
I I don't really care if people rank me lower, but I think it's I feel like people putting like Shaggy in the top 10. I feel like that's optional. Like you could easily take him out of that. I don't even think he's in it. But then I feel like there's
I
certain
don't think
fighters.
he is. I
Yeah,
could
he's not. But
see if you look at all his achievements and like really hype it up, like you kind of how DeBabies describes Shaggy. If
but
you just take that at face value, maybe.
even achievements
Um,
are like no.
he hasn't done a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
he actually hasn't done
but
a
like
lot.
I feel like there's optional people like you could put Karita or Lex there, and then like but they're like switchable. I feel like there's certain fighters like me, the babies, you, like that, like if we're not in that top 10, then it's kind of just incorrect. I feel like it gets to
Yeah.
that point at like is like I feel like I know opinions and stuff, but like like Ghosty, for example. You know, we banned him and stuff, right? I used to
Oh
be in,
yeah, I was there.
yeah,
I
I
saw
used
him
to be
today
in his,
actually.
yeah, I
He's
used to
cool.
be in his top 10, and then immediately after that, um, Carlos was in his top 10, and I wasn't, and Mamba was like number two on his
Ooh,
list, and the guy had so much faith, and he just stupid.
yeah,
Disappointing,
that's not
but
right.
like, and like, I feel like that's more of just that's not even like it doesn't even get to be considered like an opinion. It's just stupidity, and I
Yeah,
feel like H2O and uh, like people like that, like if they're not in the top 10, it kind of just becomes incorrect at that point. Like, because like who else would like replace people like me and you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I
Like
will say,
you can move us around on the top 10 if you want. I mean, I guess
oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
do whatever
could.
you want there. But we're in the 1 to 10. Is
To
a
be
fact.
fair, in all honesty, and it comes to the top 10, like my placement on it, the lowest I could see myself is maybe sixth, fifth or sixth. Actually, no, fifth is probably the lowest I could arguably see myself. I know that there's like four people. I think anyone can make an argument that maybe are like above me. And I'm fine with that. I think five is fine. Um, if I'm being like dick riding myself, I think three is pretty good. I think third is kind of where I like to be at. I think second is possible to take. I've thought about it. So like H2O, he's like, I think I looked at his Discord thing earlier today. He's like 52 and 3, if what I said earlier is true. Um, I'm going to keep saying that and I'm going to
Just
will
gonna
that
hate
into
you.
existence. I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm going to actually send a message in the Discord later, just add him about it.
Yeah.
But no, I think after H2O retires, he'll probably retire. He said after his third loss or whatever his next loss, he's out of here.
Well, after me, he said he's gonna retire. I'm sure he'd be willing to fight you, or like he wanted to fight Cesaro too,
Next
maybe.
man.
But Cesaro,
Yeah,
he's like really washed. Like I don't say people are washed much, but like he hasn't fought in like basically close to a year now, like in an actual
yeah.
hardcore match.
I'd
But
fight
yeah, continue
H2O
what you're
again,
saying.
but it'd have to be an official. I don't do
Yeah.
exhibition matches. Um, if you did it official, it'd be tight. I'd love it. Anyway, let's say he retires right now, 52 and 2. He had like a winning streak. He had like a KO streak of like 19 or something crazy like that. I can't remember. He had a winning streak of like, oh, oh no. Oh, it's fine.
Oh, we're good.
A winning
People don't
streak of
understand
like,
what we went through before we started this. That was so bad.
yeah, it's like 20 something before he had his first loss and then like 20 high 20s afterwards before he had his second loss. Um, so he has a really strong resume. But if he retires, you give anyone in the top 10, I get, I don't know. I want someone to pass him. And the only way I can see them doing that is going on a crazy win streak. I
But it
don't
has to
care
be
about
depends who they're
knockouts as
fighting.
much. They have to be good fighters. But to be fair,
Yeah.
H2O has fought a bunch of shitty fighters in his early career. So I don't.
Yeah, but then you also look at like the people you could have like replaced them with like a mom or something. Like he would have went through them too. Like it was kind of just a matter of whoever it was.
You you definitely need the resume of beating a lot of the. It needs to be the top 10.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. Top 5, top 10. You have to beat those fighters, or the top current fighters of the time, multiple times, I think, go on a crazy winning streak longer than his, have more wins than his. And for every loss you have on your record, I think you can still lose. For every loss, you got to add like 4 more wins that you have to get in my head. And that person can do it. That person tops it. And I'd be okay with that. And I'm saying this because I don't like that he's number one. And I'm just salty. I don't like this man. I do like this man. I found some pictures today
I
because I was scrolling through the picture that y'all saw earlier. So when I was trying to find that
didn't see.
photo, uh, gonna see it. When I was trying to find that photo, I was going way back to all the photos that I was a part of. You can check on like RecNet, like every photo was taken that you were in. And there's a bunch of old photos of me and H2O just like being buddy buddy, like next to each other or whatever. I remember he was wearing a green like frog. He was wearing his green like that shirt, green hair. Okay, green hair, and I was wearing a wedding dress. and I had like
Oh,
my wedding hair. I was like doing a femboy kind of thing at the time.
oh,
No,
great.
not at the time. Like
Oh,
just
everybody
for that
blasted
night.
for that. Everybody
Just
blasted
for
for that.
that night.
Just so he
I
has to
was
go through the
no,
stress
I
of
was just
editing this
I
video and
was
cutting
just
that out. If he
fuck
doesn't do
off.
that, he has to live through the live through the
I
crap
was
he's gonna
just
get for
cross
that.
dressing for that one night, but it was just me and him, like, because me and him get along so much. I used to love fighting him. I still like sparring him. Um, I just, I don't know. I have to dog on him. I can't change that. But yeah, the
Also,
thing is, once he
okay,
retires,
how
it'd be
long's this been
so
going on?
hard for someone to go number
Just
one.
type that while he's talking. I'm just
It'd be
curious.
so hard for someone to take number one. And so, the whole reason I said any of that was like personally, like if people think I'm at number three, I don't see how I'm at number four. Who would be ahead of, I don't think Zane's ahead of me anymore. We talked about this.
Nah,
We
he's
can go over our top 10 maybe in a minute because that
uh,
episode
yeah.
didn't drop.
We're on that topic.
But if I'm number three, or number two, I think the babies is probably I think he's in terms of skill of
Two or three. I
fighting.
think guys are swappable if you really put to it. But I feel like it's fair
The
to put
thing
number
is,
two.
he's done the thing is, I hate like when you consider all time rankings. I hate considering like what they did for the community. That doesn't mean shit to me in terms of all time. I like the pound for pound, like fighting wise. I think fighting wise, very equal. I think our record is either tied or he has one win over me, but he also lost to people that I didn't lose to or wouldn't have lost to. I think in terms of my resume of fights, it's better than his, but he has one over me in terms of our
Yeah.
personal thing. So I think it's so close. So if I can pass that pretty easy. So I think I could theoretically get to number two. There's no way I'm going for number one. It's just impossible. I don't think I'd be fucking 30. I don't want to be 22 doing this because I'm 19. I turned 20 this year. I mean, it's in December, but and yeah, I'm
Yeah.
19 now. I started this when I was 16, 15, 16.
Jesus. This guy's graduated high school and he started this when he was on like 10th grade. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in
Jeez,
college
that's good.
now. I've been doing this for a while. It was actually
That's
cool
cool
going
though.
back and seeing all the photos of like when I was first starting out. I'm like, wow, I had no life back then. I was depressed at the time because we had just moved to a shitty fucking
Yeah.
third world country. Had a breakup with my girlfriend. Didn't no friends, and no one speaks my language. I was pretty upset at the time, uh, and so I threw myself into the game. But I could see myself getting to number two. But once he leaves and like once I retire, because I mean the babies isn't here anymore. Once Astro retires, I'll retire probably soon after. I'll still be around. Zane's gone. You're probably not going to be around much longer. It's like the
I'll
top
be around.
five,
I'll be
top
speaking stuff. I'm not
yeah,
gonna be
top
like
five,
I'm
top 10
fighting him.
list though won't have a lot of active fighters on it. Kirito, if you want to consider him, he's probably not going to be here. Mamba may or may not still be here. I think he's a contender to going up in the ranks. But once that list is cemented, then it's all about these other fighters who aren't on it yet building up their resumes. And I kind of feel
Yeah, I feel
bad
like,
for them because they're
I
not
feel
going
like
to be
it.
able to fight us to be able to say, well, I
Yeah,
beat them to get on that list.
but then I also really think it depends on the difficulty and stuff, like of what they're doing and who they're doing it against. Cause
Yeah,
like I feel like I'm gonna use a new gen for an example. I'm gonna say we'll go with Limbs. Have you met him?
yeah.
Limbs.
Yeah, I saw him
Um,
earlier today.
so top 10 we'll go over in a second. Are ours. I feel like the minimum a new gen could get to in terms of what I believe the top 10 is number gonna say number 7 or 8. They could really get up to there maybe
Oh,
if they but that's if they really tried. And I'm gonna say
yeah,
who I believe to be 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually I won't yet because I might as well save it for the list. But I feel like for who I believe to be on those, I feel like if they do enough and they beat the future difficult fighters like in our positions, um, I feel like they could really get up there, but I don't think it could go any much higher because you'd really have to beat us, and we'd have to be decent at least,
yeah,
and we'd have to be willing to say like they beat us. And we'd have to be fully, completely honest on it. But I don't think it
yeah.
goes. I don't think anybody else can really make the list. I feel like there's people swappable on the list. I don't think there's anybody else that can make it though.
So in
I
your
think
mind, top five is cemented in terms of the fighters. Placements can vary,
yes,
but top five cemented.
yeah. I think
Yeah, I can agree with that.
yeah. I think up what I believe to be for my top six, I feel like those placements are solidified, and I actually
Or we can
five or
run down it.
six,
We can
five
go
or
ahead and
six.
run down
Yeah,
the
did
list.
you want to go first or what?
Our list are besides I think the last two, our lists are exactly the same from what you sent me
Okay,
earlier.
so
So you can
um so I was thinking about actually I got this idea from the babies. He was telling you guys say something.
no. You.
Oh, your hand.
I
But
just
anyways,
want to deal with it. Stop
uh,
talking.
we were talking about Lex. Lex
Ah,
never did much, and then that's why the babies had put Shaggy number 10 and not Lex anywhere on the list. I feel like if we're gonna say people hadn't done much, Shaggy also hadn't done much. And
yeah.
even though he was PSVR, which is difficult, that's completely his choice. He like doing something different from everybody, being different. Like that's not
You
like a
can
reason to be
move
placed.
faster on PSVR though, or at least you
Yeah,
used to be able to move faster. I
I think you still
tested it
can,
with
cause
someone. Like their running speed is just blatantly quicker than you. And it's weird. Like, and so whenever you gotta think about if you can move faster, think about jab, lean and jab back
yeah,
away. You're quicker than your opponent, and it's a blatant device, advantage.
yeah. And I believe Lex, he never, he fairly, he never did much, obviously. I don't even know what titles he even won or accomplishments he had, but he
PUC
was a
champion.
hard fighter. And if we're counting Pizza Man on the list, and we're going with Dragon stuff, Lex is on the list too, because he was a
Oh,
top drag fighter too. I'd
that
even consider
motherfucker.
Segs swappable with Lex if we're counting Zach drag, because
Okay, the
Segs was
thing with
crazy.
Segs dragging is that man would just destroy tracking. He'd hit you like in facility completely across the ring. He looked like a fucking tornado swinging his arms. He's crazy. Segs is a really underrated fighter. To beat him, I used to have to go like really try. But the thing is, in my head at the time, I never considered him like a top fighter because I thought in any
Yeah,
league that'd be called for. Because you could drag, but if your tracking was going completely out of the way, even during the dragging era
yeah.
that people want to talk about, you couldn't do that.
Which is why I consider Lex over him, because he kept it to a minimum. Obviously, he did drag a lot though, but because he was like that sword fighter style. But still, I still, if we're going by people who didn't do much, but then were better. So like Shaggy and Lex both never really did much, but who was better? Lex.
Yeah.
Lex was better. So I consider Lex to be at number 10. I think that's fair. Lex or Kurito, because Kurito beat Shaggy. So I feel like Lex and Kurito are like tied for 10th in my opinion now.
So this list, are you incorporating their achievements like in the community, or are you just incorporating what they did boxing?
I'm going by what they did in boxing, because if I didn't do that, I feel like it'd be very different. But I feel like
Yeah,
it's
I hate doing it
at
with.
this point, 3 years in the community, I feel like it's kind of fair too. We could do a separate
I
list maybe
I
if we
have
wanted
two
to.
lists. I have two lists
Yeah,
because in my
that's fair.
head it makes more sense to do that.
We can
And
do
to
our two.
incorporate them both is just it hurts my brain. I hate doing
Yeah.
it because like
So
where the fuck do you
incorporating.
put
Yeah.
Bandicoot? Where the fuck you put Bandicoot? So he wasn't that great of a fighter, but the
Mm.
influence of him, he has to be in top 10.
Well,
You know,
we
if
go
you're
by greatest Requiem boxers. He wasn't even
yeah,
really a boxer, and I feel like if you
no,
mix the things like the stuff like for we'll use the baby's example, things he did as a fighter and outside of fighting, I feel
yeah,
like if you do incorporate it, then he's up there like at two. But then here I'll finish my
yeah.
list that's where everything's put together. Which is what most people are going by now, which is like the all-time rankings apparently.
Stupid.
I
Y'all are stupid for it. Back
I
in my day, we wouldn't be caught dead doing something like that. Anyway,
number 9, I'd put
number 9.
I'd put Todd at number 9. I did speak to him about him being above number 8, which I'll get to in a second. But then the thing is, I feel like he hasn't done like that really big thing and like a really big title run. Okay, so number 8, I believe to be Cesaro. But then I also believe you could
Cesaro.
replace. You could. You sound like that.
This
You
is
sound
my voice.
like those top 10 videos, like that. One guy. um, but
Number
then
8, Cesaro.
I could.
Cesaro never really had the run that was that good. That's why he's above Todd. I'm sorry.
I thought Ace Show was a gay one.
I forgot that he was gay.
Okay, so but anyways, I'd be fine with even putting Carito above. I believe Carito's underrated. Like he's been here for so long, and he's done a good amount of stuff.
He's an
Um,
older Jim than me. Yeah, he's been here
yeah,
longer than I have. He started
and
FNL. Most people don't know that.
yeah, and then
Sorry.
Carito. Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, Carito also beat Todd in like round 2 KO of a 12 round bout, and they didn't use health potions, but that's also their fault for not listening to me. So Carito did win
Yeah.
that fight fairly. Um, so I'd be fine with even putting Carito at number 8, or I mean number 9, and then Cesaro. I mean Todd at number 10,
Yeah, yeah.
and then so it really just depends. That's your guys' opinion on that. I get to 8, I believe, to be Cesaro. He didn't do too much, but then he did that PVC, did such a, like, so much, like, he's the star of PVC, hands down. Like when you think of PVC's legend, he's number 1 at PVC's list. Like, he never
Yeah.
lost there or anything, and he went, even if he didn't fight the best fighters, he was also just the best in PVC overall, other than
Did you
HO,
not
but
fight
HO never did
anybody
much.
like that good
Well, no,
during
he
it?
worked his way up. Like he was getting good. Like he fought Dayton. I think he
Yeah.
fought Dayton. He fought Todd and stuff. Like he had good fighters. He had a good list of people he beat. I believe he's above Cesaro. I mean, he's above Todd because
Yeah.
just because Todd hasn't, he won the PBC title, but one defense, and then he ended up he just did has never had that one really big thing really. And so I believe Cesaro's PBC run and then the other little bit he did is fair enough to keep him at 8.
Hmm.
Number 7, I'm fine
Number
with
7.
Mamba. Mamba. He's done a good amount up until now. And it's not because Mamba beat Cesaro, I put him above him. It's just because he's done more than Cesaro about now. And I still believe
Yeah.
back around PBC when they were supposed to fight, which is PBC 16, I believe Cesaro would have won that still. That's just my opinion though,
7.
because
It's kind of low, actually. Hold on. I'm interested to see the rest of your list.
I just find it fair to not take credit from him, but I also don't think he's crazy high. I feel like the biggest thing he did was beat H2O, obviously, and H2O
Oh, yeah.
obviously had his reasons for losses, which respect to H2O for not like saying that like repeatedly, especially during like Mama's egotistical phase. Like he didn't blast him saying like, "Well, I was tipsy and I had a broken controller." Like he just let
Yeah.
the loss slide. But
Good for him.
I feel like Mama can settle at 7, and I feel like if Todd beats Mama though, I think Todd could uh swap with Mamba, and then Cesaro would go back to 9, in my opinion.
Are they supposed to fight?
No, but they want to, and they're both good now. Mamba, he's obvious. He can't really say anything. He still does this fairly often, and then Todd's
Yeah.
getting good again. I think they could really battle for number 7,
Hmm.
and then number 6, I believe to be Pizza Man. I'm okay with people saying Pizza Man's above me, depending on what they're going by. But I'm when it comes to like careers, I think I'm relatively equal to Samurai because we've had really similar paths, and we're
Yeah.
2-2. And I feel like if Samurai's above Pizza Man, I feel like it's fair to put me above him too. Then at that point, but I also, yeah, it gets confusing as you work higher up. But then number 5, Zayn, my opinion.
Oh.
Um, Zayn, he did he was obviously the best of like the very best at one point, which was
Yeah.
back when he was the only advanced fighter.
Yeah. At
And
that
then
era, he was the best.
he was obviously good once stuff when other people started getting advanced. Don't get me wrong, like he was able to beat like 90% of the community even when they were good. But then like
Only one to consistently beat. I whooped that motherfucker in a spar. Don't even get me started. I
he
know spars don't mean shit.
yeah,
Smack him.
but he didn't continue a serious career once people got good really. Like he was just didn't really care like
No.
and then so and the number 4 I believe to be me. And people will argue that Shane's above me. All honesty, no, he's not. I've done
Well,
everything he has plus more, and
if you're talking
people
about
will say,
your, oh, I'm sorry, keep going.
oh wait, hang on, yeah, one sec. But people will say it's because I've never fought him, therefore I can't be above him.
I
That's like
don't believe that.
that's not the case because like it's not my fault he like he didn't we never got to fight like. And like we had the
Yeah.
opportunity to fight. Like if like towards the end of his career, and like I feel like if we would have fought and BBL before it ended, I feel like that would have been a fairly close fight. But now at the level I got to, I feel like 60 to 40% I'd win.
Yeah.
And I think even if you don't count, if you don't incorporate everything like we're doing in this list, I still think I'm above him in terms of like skill and stuff. Like I feel like I've
Hmm.
watched some of his fights. I feel like and I've seen him spar. I feel like I would have won that. And I can't really
Yeah.
judge off much because we never even sparred. He'll tell you we sparred. We've never we've never had the gloves meet at once. So I
That's
can't really
funny.
judge off who's better than the other. But when you judge us, when you compare us, I think you kind of have to go by what we did, and I did more.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
no, I agree.
number three, I believe to be you. Um, on the incorporated list, uh, you, yeah, that speaks for itself. Number
We.
two, the babies. Things
Mhm.
we both did a lot, which and I believe we're so equal. But I feel like you're kind of in the middle, and you're kind of screwing us up. And I'd like if you would not.
Who, me?
Yeah, because I can't.
Oh,
I I feel like I could. I'd I'm fine with people saying I'm above him now. Like the reason for me, like I continued so long, even after I got into top 10, I wanted to be fine with people saying I was the best of all time. And I believe, like, if people say
yeah.
I'm the greatest of all time, I won't even argue with it now. I don't necessarily believe I am, but I could
In
argue
terms
now
of
that I am.
fighting skill or in terms of
Fighting skill too. I think even if not
fighting
incorporated,
skill and both of them? Okay, yeah.
yeah, like even on both separate lists, um, I I just wanted to be fine with people calling me the best of all time if they want to, and then now if they say that, I'm perfectly fine with them saying it, and I'd be fine
Yeah.
believing it if I did. But I, me and the Babies are so equal, but then I feel like since you're number three, he's two, and then I'm four, I don't think that I don't think that puts him behind you, and I don't think that puts you in lower placement.
Yeah.
So that's just hard to base off of, and because me and the Babies, when you actually like compare like league running on the incorporated list, we've both done that. And when it comes to league running, I've probably done more leagues, but he's also done a lot more things in the league, in the one league he did run. So it's debatable. Skill, I think I'm equal with him in. I think even like back then, I think I could have like even H2O. He told me the style I did against him the first time I ever beat him in a spar. He said it reminded him. Well, not the first time. One of the times I beat him in a spar, like the last spar I beat him in. He said it reminded him a lot of Prime Samurai, which is why he was struggling with it. And it was just very comparable.
Yeah.
And so I think it's you could swap me for two and then him behind you. It's just you can't swap me and you. Like I don't think that
I
that
disagree.
that
If we're going off of both boxing career and your achievements in the community, I, I am very okay with being put at number four and having you and him be two and three or whatever, vice versa. Simply because in terms
that's
of
if we're
boxing,
incorporating though. Yeah,
that's if we're incorporating both things.
yeah.
Because in terms of actual like boxing achievements, nothing with the community, I think there's a bit of not a huge gap, but there's a small gap between you and me that
Mm.
would put me ahead of you. Not huge by any means,
No,
but I'm just
yeah,
I
but
think
yeah.
there's a small thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I know what I mean.
but I haven't. I don't do much for the community in terms of like I was just kind of there fighting. I was a popular fighter, but that doesn't mean much in terms of like what I did. Even recently, if you want to go back a couple months when I was kind of helping out, I really wasn't doing anything. Um, and so you've done so much for the community, both PBC, WBE, you're helping in BBL and all these other leagues that it completely dwarfs my barely anything for the community. So I completely agree that you would be above me and if you want to incorporate both of them.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fair
but
to
this is
say.
why that's why I don't like doing
Yeah,
both of them incorporated is
yeah.
because of it's like a
Selfish,
it feels
selfish.
weird. Selfish reasons. But also I just I think
Yeah,
in terms of
I
a
get what you mean.
fighter,
Yeah.
I think in terms of a fighter and so every ranking that I'll ever do is just how good were they and that's what I base things on. because you can
Yeah.
do a lot for the community, and that's why you go on this separate list that I make of how great you are for the community and why we love you. And now
Are you
these are the
inserting
people
your
who would
list right
murder
there?
those people.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, no, there's no list that I'm going to put in. I'm not going to do that unless I do.
Or a
I'm
picture.
not.
But um
I'm going to put in the picture. But I think you would be whether you want to say three or number two in terms of that.
y-
But
yeah. I
okay,
mean, it's like why I won't immediately put myself above the babies. He hasn't beaten like Mama or anything, but he has like I'm pretty sure he has like a very positive record against Mama in spars. I know we don't really count spars, so
yeah.
I won't
Uh,
really go
I
by
you gotta
any of that.
by
So he but
counting spars, it doesn't mean like they're directly like better than them. But if you have a
mm,
guy who's beaten another guy in a spar 10, 15 times and has lost, they only have one official match and they lost, that counts for something. You have to incorporate it slightly,
yeah.
whether or not, I don't think it means more. Obviously, wins in an official match mean the
Mm.
most, but you got to look at it as, well, there's not a huge gap.
Yeah, and Mama and the Babies they never had an official match or anything, or like they were, yeah, like so like that's
Did
completely
they not
different.
have a match in PBC?
WBE versus PBC, but that was also Mamba was getting pretty high level, and the Babies just wasn't he wasn't suitable like for a match at all,
Yeah,
which is why he didn't really take it seriously. Um, I've beaten Mamba, and I know he'll say his controller is broken or anything. That's completely his fault. He can say that he didn't think he was going to lose to me. I was a top tier fighter at the time too. Still, obviously, I was running the freaking league too. So like I was up
yeah,
there, like, and I always considered myself better than him. And I feel like people just paid attention a lot more attention to him than they did to me for like while his career was up running because they knew him before, and he just decided to start leveling up when I began,
yeah,
and then so I always wanted that match with him, and we're 1-1, I guess. But we fought in PBO where even his team Arab teammates they after the match they wouldn't call the match, which I'm a little annoyed about, but it's whatever for his backhands and stuff. But they even said
yeah.
after the match they sided on my side, and I was the team leader of the team that we were like going back and forth with in matches, and they agreed that like it should have ended by TQ because of the backhands and stuff and the slow motion like PBO was like
Yes.
very slow paced, so like I like it was hard to get out of the way from his punches, like the stupid like that, and
Yeah.
so I consider my win to be over him like 1-0 honestly, because I would have I'm pretty sure I would have won that match if they would have you know not uh if they would have like called the some of the bull crap that was going on. But anyways, to
No, yeah.
speed this up, I it's no uh competition in my mind that I'm above the other people past me on the list, other than
Hmm.
like up to 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I beat H2O on the redo when he admits that he's ready for the match and stuff, I feel like that's my final overdue above the babies, and then would say, with no disrespect to him, that I'd be number 2 or 3 on the incorporated list.
Yeah.
And then but if we're number one's H2O obviously, yeah,
But
and then
how in an incorporated list, how is he number one? So the way I'm viewing it is if you had like a chart of like percentage of
that's
there's two
actually
percentages here. What they did for the community and as a boxer. H12 is at like 99, 100% in terms of boxing skill, boxing achievement, what he's done. 99 to 100%. I don't think anything else is arguable. He's maxed out that fucking stat. But in terms of what he's done for the community, it's fucking fucking little. Like he's ref some matches, but other than that, I can't think of H2O helping the community in any way
which is
besides
why I'm
being a good
kind of
boxer.
agreeing with your unincorporated list, like because on the unincorporated list where it's skills, H2O's one. Just if we're just going by fighting and accomplishments and stuff, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Is you count
because if
accomplishments?
you add, yeah, because if you
Yeah.
add those together, it's like what, fucking 5, 10% plus is 100%, 100 and some percent, 110, 15%. Let's go crazy here. But then you look at someone like you and DeBabies, who I think, let's use DeBabies in this example, who I think his stats, it's kind of difficult for this example. Let's say 85% as his boxing fucking list. And let's take, I think he was a better I think he did a better at doing things for the community than he was a fighter. That's just my per- perception of him. Let's say 90% was his like what he influenced the community. It just these are rough numbers. None of these are exact. But then that means he's like way higher than what you would consider H2O. But do you put the babies above H2O because H2O is the goat? Like it's a weird thing to do in an incorporated list
Yeah.
of both of them. That's just
Uh,
my
uh,
like
yeah,
tangent.
I'll speed run through the unincorporated list. I think number one H2O, number two you.
Yeah,
I think when it comes to fighting and accomplishments, I think you're above me, and I think you're just really smart in the ring and stuff like your skills and stuff. It's kind of crazy when I started to get to fight you a little bit more. Um,
yeah,
number three,
that'd be
me or the
wild.
babies. Four, whoever you don't pick for number three. So the babies or me.
Yeah.
Um, five, uh, Zane, and then six, I'd go Pizza Man, and then seven. So seven, seven, I think I'd put Cesaro actually. Is this
Wow.
Cesaro or Mamba? Wait, I don't.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
I was wondering,
difficult.
are you gonna put Pizza Man over Mamba? Is what I was thinking.
Cause Mamba never, he hasn't. I mean, he did the F and L stuff, so like that is like a part of like the incorporated stuff, because he did help a
I'd
lot with
like
F
to
and
know
L.
the exact list of people he's beaten, because the thing is, I think
Yeah,
what when you look at a top fighter and you want to put them in the top five, you want to put them in like the top seed, you should be able to look at that fighter and immediately say, well, he's beaten this guy, he's beaten this guy, he's done this. When you look at someone like obviously H2O, you can just say all the people he's beaten. When you look at me, you can say all the leagues that I was champion of, all the people I've beaten, whatever you want to do. With Mamba, it's like, okay, he's beaten H2O. Um, like there isn't a ton of at least I don't know exactly all these other people.
just
Um, there are some sleeper people that you can point out. Like if he's beating someone like Kirito, I think that's
well, like
pretty damn cool.
yeah. The thing
Um,
is, like the top fighters he beat H2O, and then you stop there, but then there's Cesaro now, but then that was completely washed. Like he was
yeah,
like when I fought him, like I had a like back injury, and then he was only a couple months coming off of his last match, and then he was
yeah,
also training bits and bits for the match, so it ended up being equal, and then I ended up winning that. But then, so it's like not comparable to that. Mamba, so Ishiro Cesaro, not Cesaro then, and then the babies didn't train for that, and then I want to compare. I didn't mention this, but when I fought the babies, he actually trained. Like he was on like a lot. Like he was like getting ready for the
yeah.
match, and we were both preparing for it, and we both agreed on that because we wanted to put on a good match. I beat him. I'm not gonna say at his best, obviously, because no, but I
No,
beat him at a good level. The Mamba beat him by like 3 hits after like not having a fight in ages. We had a fight the day before that. They fought at WBE versus PBC and BBU, but then he'll
yeah.
tell you a different story. But I won that. Obviously, I did win it, but I didn't want. I always had a thing against destroying the old fighters, like 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 destroying. I always wanted to fight them, but I always wanted to put
Yeah.
on a good match with them. And I feel like I lose more if I just destroy them rather than gain. So I ended up BBU was 50 hits per person without rounds,
Dang.
and then I ended up going back in and out, and then I like kept giving in some hits on me, and then I ended up winning by 1 hit. If I would have went full out, I probably would have won by around 15 hits, just because I was able to. I was the freaking king of BBU. Kibo knows it if he watches this. I thought he will, but I went 5-0 in BBU. I was the only champion there, and I destroyed everybody that gave me.
Yeah.
But anyways, says Mamba, you can put H2O, I guess, and then even H2O has a reason, but he didn't ever go off about it, so I won't either, because that's his choice. Then Cesaro,
Yeah.
no. The babies, no.
But then, what has Pizza Man done officially? Who is Pizza Man?
Pizza Man, Pizza Man, he he's done training stuff like training fighters. He even trained me a good amount. Like he got
Yeah.
me to the next level. He trained me for Angel and PBC 15, which is when he started becoming like who I counted as my trainer. And then he really got me to that next level. And then I looked at some of the other fighters he trained. He was really good at mixing stuff and then like mixing styles and stuff depending on who you were, and then making you good. And
He
he's
fought
also
Lex in
beaten.
BBL, right?
Yeah, he won that. He's only lost once to Lex, which was in KO, and then he's beaten the babies a good handful of times, I think. Uh, I don't really know about his titles and stuff. But I know he's had a notable career. So I want it in an all fair list, completely unbiased now because I didn't put him in my first list because I really just didn't want to because I was really holding that grudge. But he is on my top 10, no matter if it's incorporated or not.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'd put him. What did you put him sixth?
I put him, yeah, I put him above. I put him before Zayn. So
Sadly, and I
Zayn then
feel
Pizza Man.
bad for these fighters, but if you're short, and look, it's a blatant just genetics thing. It is, and so when a tall fighter fights a short fighter,
Sorry, Floaty.
there's it's just you have an advantage. And the thing is, it's copium. Floaty knows it because Floaty was my sparring partner for a long time. He would whoop my ass on a daily basis. But to be fair, I just want to put it, I would also go back and forth. I'd also make this man rage quit. He'd just start screaming about hitboxes and why nothing's connecting. And he's like, I'm getting off. Goodbye, wheat. Throw off his headset. um, I can't fucking do this anymore. But it's just because you're shorter and like you can duck down. It's much harder to hit you. And I've had people like tell me, well, okay, tall people have the reach on you. Because of dragging, it narrows that gap. In real life, hell yeah, you're tall and versus a short guy, you just outreach them. In a rec room, it's different just because of the mechanics. And so I sadly take away a little bit from your accomplishments or as a fighter if you're shorter. And Pizza Man, his style's really good. I'll give it to him. His fucking like when he drags. I fought him when he wasn't dragging and it
Yeah.
was not good. But when he
Oh yeah.
did drag,
Yeah.
crazy good. Like, I mean, I'd have to try so hard. We only ever fought in facility, to be fair, whenever he was dragging, and facility isn't known for its best mechanics.
Okay.
Um, but no, he was always really good. I used to I had to fight my ass off. And I think if you
It's like a
wanted to look at
Shogun
our
hunter.
all-time record in facility, he's probably way above me in it. But it's because he's short. It's because all my swings go over his fucking head because he ducks into the ground and then drags like a tornado. Um, and so you can keep going to the list, but that's just my opinion on short fighters.
Oh yeah,
My
yeah.
daily little
That's completely fair. I hate the short fighters, but I feel like
fuck you all.
uh, I don't take too much credit from Pizza Man for it, because it obviously is an advantage he can use it as.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
there's
mean,
fighters like
yeah,
Frog, for example, short,
Fr-
and I think
yeah.
that's just the only reason why they can get so much above. I feel like if Pizza Man fought the way he did if he was taller, I feel like that's what I judge by. If he fought the way he did if he was taller, I think he'd still do good. I feel like if Frog fought the way he does if he was taller, he wouldn't do good. I
So
never really got to experience Floaty, so I can't really judge on him. But Pizza Man, I feel like
yeah,
he would have done just as good if he was taller, probably.
to test it, I used to, and this is how mini wheat became a thing. Before Mamba was mini wheat, me being called mini wheat was because I'd lower my height to match Pizza Man and then beat him. Because I'd be like, this is not fair. Look at this. And like people, if they were watching, they were watching. If not, I just lower my height. I'd alter my guardian. I like measure us up. Same height. I'd whoop him because it's so fucking easy when you're short.
Yeah,
His style has no defense in it. It's just pure offense. So if you just block a few and then counter, easiest shit of your entire life. And that's the only reason I say like if they were the same height fighters as that's why in BBL early on you had to be close to the same height. If not,
yeah,
they recognized that there was an advantage and they didn't do it.
yeah.
You're at
Um,
number 7, sorry.
so I went H2OU, Mir, the babies, 4, whoever you don't pick, Zane, Pizza Man, and then the thing is with Cesaro, I've always like Cesaro when it comes to like fighting and like skill and stuff. I've always considered him to be one of my favorites. Like when it just comes to fighting, like back then, like oh my god, like he was so fun to fight and he was so difficult.
Mhm.
And I feel like he was a better fighter than Mamba and Todd. But then if you mix with what like they've done in accomplishments and stuff, Mama's probably done more. I'm assuming because he's done FNL and stuff,
Yeah.
championships. Cesaro only had KO and PBC,
Yeah.
but I never really thought about this, but I'd probably give Cesaro number 7 until Mama and Todd fight, because I believe Cesaro's above Todd when you don't incorporate everything. So, uh, but then I feel like the winner of Mama versus Todd would be number 8, and then you can maybe change it up a bit to get past Cesaro. I feel like
Yeah.
Cesaro's a good number 7. Uh, and then number 8, Mamba or Todd, whoever you don't pick, then whoever loses the match they have in the future. If they don't have it, then I'm putting Cesaro above both of you probably at that point because you guys need to have that match. But
Yeah.
and then number 10, I Carito is a good fighter, but he's so easy to beat once you figure him out.
Oh yeah. Oh
So I feel
yeah.
like I'd put Lex number 10.
Lex, yeah, I think Lex is good. Lex, I hated fighting against. I never liked fighting against Lex. He'd always be in the same gym when like me and the babies would be sparring. So I'll spar anybody at any time. I have no quarrels with it. I don't care. I care about spars. I don't care about fighting. You could be dog shit, and I'll fight you because deep down I'm thinking to myself, when I first started, I used to fight the top fighters, and they put up with me. I can put up with you. I have no quarrels with it.
Yeah.
But Lex is a little shit.
Yeah.
He would so he would drag, and his drag was really good. But not only would he drag, this man was humping the floor the entire match. I'm surprised he didn't get fucking rug burn on his dick for how low he would just slide on the ground. This dude loved being on the floor. And it's so hard to hit him with his drag because he benefited from being around my height, benefited from doing that, being around my height. So he had similar reach, could drag really well, and then also use the being short mechanic is what I'm going to call it, which is bullshit. People use that. Before I took my break 3 months ago, I was using it because it's just broken. I was using it against like HJ, there's a few other people I was using it. I just ducked low to get a squat the entire match. My skill shot up because there was so much hard to hit me. Less room for you to hit me because I didn't block it. Uh, so he was a good fighter. You can't take that away. But fuck the style that he used. I hated it
Mm,
so much.
yeah. Um, there's one thing I know about Todd too, which also makes me take a little bit of credit. I don't know if he'd want me to say it publicly. Could let me think.
This
Um,
is our podcast is not canon in the lore of our thing, unless we want it to be. Actually, I think it being canon would be sick. Um, let's pretend like this is a separate universe. Everything we say here just doesn't matter.
actually, I'll say it just because it's. I feel like if you're really gonna put yourself in the top 10, you gotta be honest. Then, so unless he's lying, he told me he's 6 foot something, and then when he
He is?
fights, yeah, that's what he's telling me. I don't know for sure, but he's telling me he's around, because when he fights, he's around like Mamba's height. Um, and Mama's not six
Mama's
foot. He's like
close.
5'8".
He's like,
No,
yeah,
he Mama's 5'8" or 5'9", one or the other. He's
I
just
think it's like
short dude.
5'10", 5'11". I can't remember.
I don't know, but anyways, Todd, he doesn't use his real life height, is he admitted. If he's actually 6 foot something, if he's not, then I won't take credit. But
Yeah.
he's told me he is, so I'm gonna go by his word. He finds it difficult or something. He said to fight at his real height, and I feel like okay, that you gotta be like you gotta be real with it. So like I can't like I don't think
Uh,
I'd put him above Mamba or Cesaro, especially at that point until Mamba and Todd fight. I wouldn't
hearing
put him above
that,
Cesaro though.
everyone knows hearing that one pisses me off. I don't think he's on my top 10 anymore. I think if that's the case, if he's been doing that like his whole career, I invalidate
No, not his
every
whole
win
career,
he's
because
ever had.
he started this a while back, and he's using the height like he used to be.
Yeah.
So
Um, I don't like
yeah,
that because, yeah, I just don't like that at all. I don't agree with that. Fundamental. I have the honor of rec room boxing on my shoulders when I hear that, and it's crying. I have to give it a cookie to make it better. And so I don't love that he did that.
Yeah, it's complicated, which is why I'm able to switch them around. That's why I've shopped them around a bit. No, nobody give him hate for this. It's
No, this
it's
is all
whatever.
fun.
Yeah.
All these
Um.
we just say jokes. Oh, not serious.
Yeah. And
I am. Everything I say is dead serious.
oh
100%.
yeah, 100%.
I
He
hate
also hates black people. He
all of
told me,
you.
but
I might
uh,
have.
uh, but yeah, I I think why this without it all being incorporated, league running and stuff, I think it goes H2O, you, me, or Samurai. Number four, whoever you don't pick, Zane, Pizza Man, Cesaro, Mamba, Todd, and Lex. I think that's a decent list.
Did you put yourself at number 3 or number 4?
I put myself three or four, whoever you don't pick to be three, me or
All
Samurai.
right. So I think okay. I want to give you a scenario now. So let's
Mm.
say that you're number 4. We'll start with this
Well, here,
scenario.
so tell me who you actually yeah, continue your scenario first, because so you don't forget.
Oh, okay. So let's say like, what do you think you have to do to get? What's the high? I think. What's the
The
highest you
thing,
think you can
so
get to?
thing is, me and I mean, not me and H, me and Samurai, I say we have such similar careers, but he also did it first, which is something
Yeah,
but then the thing is, I
but he's
think
also
the reason
retired,
I even
which
put myself
means
against H2O in a super match is because it replicated their fight so much, but I also wanted to do what he did it and beat H2O, which is what I plan on doing when we do the redo.
yeah,
I feel like once I do that, that could really put me past him. I don't think that puts me past you though, obviously. I think that could really put me. I don't think it really puts me past him. I over exaggerate. Exaggerated. That's what I was trying to say.
exaggerated.
But
Yeah.
I don't think that really puts me past him. But I think I'd willingly say I'm three. Then if we're not doing incorporated, I think even incorporated, I think I'd still put myself above him for that reason.
hmm
But I think the mix of beating Mamba in an official match and H2O. I don't count Mamba win that big, but it's a thing to put there. I think me beating H2O and then maybe even beating him in the rematch we have, because he said if I win
Yeah.
this, we'll end up having a fourth fight, and then I think if that happens, I think he'll want a fifth, because if I win the fourth, because we've had four fights technically at
That'll
that
be
point.
tied.
Yeah, I hate that. But anyways, I I think
It'll
the
be
highest I
tied
could get
like
to
how
is
me
two.
and H2O are tied.
I feel like the
Yeah.
highest
I
I
was
could
gonna
get to is
ask, what do
two.
you think you have to do to pass me if I'm number 2?
Past you. Thing is, you suck. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um,
I have my theory on it. And it kind of goes two
we
ways.
when it comes to accomplishments, we've done a bunch of just done a bunch of things, even random things. Uh, we've both been the best at something, even if it's not like all time. We've been the
The
best
GOAT.
at some things. We've been the goat of something either way. I'd be fine even staying at three, even if I know I could get to two. I I don't think I could pass H2. I don't think I get to one all time
I
unless
don't even think I could
yeah.
pass him.
Yeah, even if I did like get three wins
Unless he
above,
wants to fight me for the Penta match so I can actually be ahead in his record. But I don't think that does
even if even
it.
if I went 3-2 with him and I won over the five matches, I don't
Yeah.
think it really put me above him just because it's freaking H2O.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't put you above him. But I see it as if I retired right now, if I don't come back to actual boxing and you did that, um, if you beat him more than once, definitely I think you're above me. Maybe. I think it's close. I think
I
besides
think it'll always be
H2O
close.
fights, yeah, I don't know. It's really close. If I retired now, I think it'd be easier for you to pass me. If I don't
Yeah,
retire now, that I think that means you have to beat me. Um,
yeah. I think if
and even
yeah,
still, it's
that's
close.
yeah. Even if I like started beating you, I think it'd still be close just because of what we've
But
done.
you know I'd beat you. So it's like that's a sad fate. You know, I mean, you gotta have
That's
to
something
you gotta
that
live
happens
with
to
number
beast.
3 is what I'm thinking. You gotta live with number
If I beat
3.
H2O, I think I'd confirm a fight with you. Uh,
I'm in my penthouse at number 2. H2O's in a fucking gutter somewhere, and then you're like down here, like on the floor below me, and you're like you're banging your broom into my ceiling because I'm just having
oh,
like
okay.
fucking
I didn't know.
parties all night.
I didn't know what you were doing. I didn't know what I was banging, but
Oh
um,
yeah, yeah. So I just want to point out, I love so I have two versions of like how I fight, and there's the fighting where I'm like trying to take it somewhat seriously, and then there's like I'm fucking around, and when I'm fucking around but I'm fighting good, I'm cracked out of my mind. Uh, drunk of me is undefeated. I have
oh
fought
yeah,
so many
I was
people drunk. I am undefeated.
on the last episode. We didn't get to it though. Floaty asked me what you're like when you're drunk. I didn't get to talk about it, but um, I've spoken to him. I think I've spoken to you when you're drunk. It's whatever. You're kind of
You've
just
spoken to me when I'm drunk, and I think maybe when I'm high. I don't know. I don't know if I was high when I texted you that. No, I was texting another friend. You have spoken to me when I'm drunk though, and
yeah. And then I fought you when you're
yeah,
drunk, dude. That was
goaded.
freaking awful. No, like you need when you fight HO, I think you need a couple shots.
A
Uh,
couple drinks. I
yeah,
am very tempted to do it because I think it'd be so funny. I don't know what happens. I stopped caring as much. I think is what it is. Like, I'm stressed about so many little things I'm doing, but when I'm drunk, all those little things I'm doing just go into autopilot, and I do them so well that I don't even think about it. And I just have to focus on the big picture. And the big picture is like subtle things, like okay, he's moving towards me, just move out the way and punch him. Like it's stupid, but then I'll mess around and do like weird styles. Like I was teaching chocolate.
oh,
A
dude.
monk style. Monk style is something I made. Waterworks is something I used to use on Zane, and I used to beat Zane with it, and he was upset when I'd fight him. He ended up copying it to use against me, and then he did it better. But that's besides the point. Yeah.
Um,
But if we fought in an official match, that'd be a lot of fun. I'd be completely down for it.
yeah. Also, if we did something unique, like I remember I mentioned the best of seven thing I told you about too.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd have to, I think I'd really want it to be something like cool and unique because that'd
I
be a
really
cool
like
big
that.
fight. Yeah. Anyways, we should probably try getting closer to wrapping up because I think it's already close to 2 hour mark now. But
Is it?
yeah, it's around there. How long
Crisis.
is it, Chris?
Write down the number when you get a chance.
But yeah,
My
what was
top
I
10 list, by the way, is very
yeah,
similar to yours. I don't. I'm not going to do incorporated. That just hurts my brain. I can't decide it.
yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'll just go with that. My top 10 list. Oh, yeah, I'll just run down it real quick. H2O. Fuck that guy. Uh, I think me. I think I've done more than the babies by far, and so I think I'm better than him. Um, Third is a toss up between you two. I think it's I think it's really close between you guys. Just because the thing is I don't know. You've beaten Mamba, and I do. Mamba's really good, and so I'm gonna take that into account. Have you beaten the babies?
Yeah, I beat him. You were, oh, you weren't there for it. I beat him. We're
You
2-2.
beat. Oh, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm looking at the poster of you two fight. You've beaten the babies. Um, who else have you beaten? Like, just say like notable names.
Um, I beat Cesaro, and you don't really have to consider
Cesaro.
that much, but I mean, we could made it that fair. Um,
I'll
I've
consider
got
it.
being Pizza Man. We had such odd fighting times. We fought. We've had two exhibitions, so he has only one official win over me, which is in uh ABL, and then so our exhibition was in WBE versus PBC, um, which was a freaking amazing match, and he did get that one over me. He was washed too, and I just was all over the place. I wasn't really good for that, so uh, it, I don't take it too much of an L, but it was a really good fight. Um,
Yeah.
he beat me early in my career, and I came up really close. It was in
Yeah.
ABL, and then he got a win over me in an official match in ABL a little after. So we never fought when we were both good, but um, I've got one exhibition win over him, which was in I don't remember where it was, but I don't really consider it much because it was whatever. It was just for fun
Yeah.
mainly. It was more of a spar than any even an official match. So um, I'd just say the baby's Mamba, Cesaro, H2O, hopefully. Um,
Yeah, then
um,
I'll put you just off that because when I'm thinking about the baby's career, he did beat some good people. He beat me. He beat
yeah,
um, he beat a washed Zane. I'm not counting his win over Zane. Zane came back. That was ass. Did he beat Lex? I think he's beaten Lex maybe.
he's beating Lex. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's
He's
beating Lex.
beaten Lex. That was good. I think he beat Pizza Man. I think Pizza Man's has a lot more wins over him.
Yeah. I've eaten Todd too.
Um,
Yeah. There's Todd. Um,
I never thought Todd was that good. Um,
he's yeah, he's pretty decent. It was also
I'll
right after he came out. He lost to Mamba by one hit after like a 1 to 2 month break, and Mamba was like
yeah,
reaching his peak. It was like right before he fought H2O, and I ended up beating Todd not long after that by like a long run, and I went like easy. Yeah, I'll admit that he can.
yeah.
Yeah, like I went pretty easy on it, and then I ended up beating him. So
So yeah, I think I'm comfortable saying it's water, wheat, Calvin, um, the babies. Fifth is interesting. I think it does go to Zane, but that brings up a question at number six. I don't think it's Pizza Man. The thing is, Motive is a really. I'm thinking about these
that'd
old gens.
be unique.
Motive is really good. Motive was beat like whenever I was Zane was still around. I was considered number two. Season three of BBL when that came out, Greek Gods of Boxing. Like we made this like completely OP team of like H2O, me, Zane, Motive, Goji, who we dropped, and Kirito. Um, I'd be sparring Zane and Motive, and sometimes I'd beat Zane. I was losing though, but Motive was so difficult to fight. He was
Also,
so
yeah, I
good.
just want to say his list is above mine. He's been here way longer, so like whatever he says, take his for granted more than mine because I'm I wasn't here forever. I just know what I know, and I know a good amount, but he's been here through it. So listen to
I
his list more
think
than mine.
I think Motive is on my top 10. I have to put him on there just because I know how good he. I think season three of BBL is probably. I think my skill level has kind of gone up and gone down and gone up and gone down.
I feel like if
One
you
of
put
those
Zane on there,
peaks
it's fair to put Motive somewhere if you
Yeah,
want to.
one of those peaks though that I've had like maybe three peaks. I don't know which ones are higher, but one of those peaks is season three of BBL, and that Motive was beating me consistently in spars. And I know we never fought in an official match, but if he was beating Zane too, back when Zane was better, I just have to put him on there. So I think Zane's number five. I am comfortable with Zane. Then Kirk didn't do a lot. Then Mamba. I think I'm putting Mamba six. I think I don't know.
You should put this list in Wii topics because I don't know if everybody will fully watch this, but that's like a
Yeah,
really interesting like that's something not many
I'll
people.
have
I
to
don't think anybody's
discuss
brought up
every
before.
person.
You should
Bec-
really put that in Wii topics tonight. I think you should after this
yeah,
podcast because that'd be an interesting go off. Oh, so how long has this been going on? So, oh, so you finished your thing about heat types because you know heat types
yeah.
like 20 years.
I'm gonna I'm gonna stop going down numbers here, and I'm just gonna say people who I would put in my top 10. Because after number five, it gets really complicated. I'm gonna write out my
Yeah.
weedy topics on what I think, but I think definitely Kirito. Kirito is a. I think he is a good fight. He is shit, to be fair. Once you figure him out, he's ass. But his dragging's really good. I always thought his movement was pretty good. He was always consistently a really just decent, good fighter. He has fucking I've beaten him at least 100 goddamn times in spars. I when I first came back from my break before this previous break, um, we sparred him, and I sparred him, and he would just get so mad because he can't beat me. And the only time he's ever beaten me was in an official match that was laggy as shit. Fuck that. But no, I think he's on there. But then it's like, okay, we're gonna go off of old gens. How good is Kirk? Kirk rivaled Zane at Prime Zane. So, but then
Yeah.
you got to think about the skill level since Prime Zane has moved on. I think a really Prime Mamba, whenever he beat H2O, maybe beats a Prime Zane, which is an interesting thought. So maybe Zane goes down. Either way, um,
Wait, Prime Mama? Is that what you said?
I think maybe because the skill floor has gone up. Things have shifted. It is a much more difficult competition right now than it was back when
The
Zane was
thing
beating
I've
everybody.
seen Zane's fighting system back then, which is really good, obviously. Still,
Yeah,
Motive. I mean, not Motive. Mamba. Is that what you said? Mamba, right?
I
Mamba.
think yeah,
Prime
Mamba
Mamba
when he
beat
beat
Prime Zane.
H2O.
I just from what I've seen, I've never sparred Prime Zane, so I or even Zane in general, so I can't really say too much. I've sparred Mamba and stuff, so I'm gonna go by that. how long has this been going on? Answer the question. Um, uh, I feel like just from what I've seen, I think I'm gonna stand by it because people think I dislike Mamba. I don't dislike Mamba. I
Yeah,
think when it comes to this, I think yeah, I just I don't give him as much credit as some of the people do because I don't think it's that deserved or close
yeah,
to it. But he's a friend. But I think Zane would Prime Zane would win that. I think
yeah.
he'd manage to slip in and out from Mamba, and Mamba wouldn't be able to do much about it.
Yeah, I've never seen someone recreate the offensive output that Zane had. His
Yeah,
movement mixed with his swings, like I mean, how the fuck do you beat someone in 7 seconds? 5 seconds? 7 seconds? I can't remember how. He,
he had a 14. I had the 7.
yeah, yeah. He had 14?
He was somewhere. He was like up there, like
He was at
uh,
14.
10 to 15. It was up there somewhere. Yeah.
Was it 10? No way. Was it?
Hang on. I'd have to look. I know people
I
didn't
thought
know
it
for
was
sure whether
7.
mine was quicker than his or something. But
That
whatever
was
his was at,
high.
mine was like either on the dot of it or it was either a tad bit slower or a little bit faster. I don't
I
know which
was
one.
there when it happened. I think I have
Was it?
pictures from that fight. This is like
So then,
old BBL. It was seconds into the fight.
what was the
Maybe
hits?
you have it.
What were the hits? Like the hit count?
Hits 15 to 20. It's
15. Dang. Yeah. Yeah.
standard BBL.
Mine was PBC, so 20. But Jesus, yeah. Mine was nobody knows because nobody was like really paying because nobody really paid attention to me that because it was like my third fight,
Yeah,
and then I was fighting Youngin, which a little impressive because he just come off of destroying Mamba and ABL like the week before,
yeah,
and so nobody really paid attention. But then the babies, so when it was streamed, Goji was streaming, I believe, and the like a long time span, including when the bell rang on my fight, everything cut off, so nobody knows how fast my match was. But
yeah.
it was told after the match. Pizza Van and the Babies told me, dude, you got the record for the fastest knockout, and nobody mentioned Zane's fastest knockout till like later on in my career. So now I'm iffy if I have it or not. But if his was 7, mine was. The baby says it was around 5 to 6. I don't even know because I just remember
I
it
mean,
being
you
quick.
can take it. Either way, it's
Yeah,
an
I don't either
accomplishment
care,
that he
but
beat him that fast. He beat Ree, and
yeah,
Ree at the time was
yeah,
pretty good.
and they were both
But
against good
another thing
fighters.
with
So
the thing when I think about Zane versus Mamba, and I can say this because I've fought Zane, is offensively he was great. Defensively, he was not that great. The thing is, he would swarm you. He'd be so good at offense that he never had to be on defense. His defense would last 2 seconds of him just slightly backing away, and then he's on top of you again, beating your ass. And so he was never like really pushed into a wall. But
mm,
I know from personal experience of sparring him, if you can weave, if you can just counter him, like get around him, have good movement, he becomes way less of a challenge. And I've seen Mamba fight H2O, and I've seen that Mamba has decent defense, and I think his defense would carry him a little bit. But I don't know. That's here or there. It's difficult comparing old fighters to new ones. I do think the thing is Zayn in his prime, 90% of what he did, new gens are doing right now. That's their standard. That's the gold standard of how you
mm,
get good. Is what you have to do what he did in his prime. Anyway, let me go back to real quick. H2O, me, you, the babies. Fuck it. I'm just gonna put Zane for right now. Mamba, Motive, Kirito. I think I'm at 8. Uh,
yeah,
2 more I got to put on this list. Um, I don't think you
Shonen,
put Kirk. I think Kirk is good. I don't think I put him on there. Who's real?
7. So then 7.
Pizza in terms of skill was good. I hate that he was so short.
I
Um,
feel like if you're going by that, then I feel like 8 to 9. I feel like that's
Conqueror was apparently another really good fighter. Um, this is really hard. I don't think I can do the rest. I'll have to really think about the rest later.
yeah,
I have a list of like a lot of fighters, like old school fighters that I wrote down so I wouldn't forget them, like what they did.
yeah,
Because you look at old, not boxing facility, but boxing league, that top 10 list in boxing league, oh, it's changed a little bit, but a lot of those guys are really,
yeah,
really old gen. They are really fucking good.
yeah,
I sparred 2 of them. this was months ago. Uh, I'd, I was decent. I was mean. I'm good. And they had just done sword fighting. Like they haven't boxed in ages, and they were so fucking difficult to fight. I barely beat one of them. Like I think he lagged out actually. I don't think it was an official win. He lagged out, but he was so good. He was better than a lot of people I've fought. So it's like, okay, if they're still really good, how much do you weigh everyone else? I'm gonna write a weedy topics about this. I
Yeah,
think the top 10. I think top 5 is very easy for me. Top 10 gets harder because once you get down to those lower numbers, it's difficult. I, but that's what I value: how good you were as a fighter. Um,
yeah,
and I think I sit comfortably at number 2. I can see myself
yeah,
losing number 2 spot, but I can also see myself retaining it.
yeah,
Um, I don't know.
yeah.
It's an interesting thing.
Anyways, I think that's a good ending. One thing I wanted to mention, we did promise we'd do more real life topics and stuff, on which we're gonna do. This has been a while since me and
Oh
him
yeah,
have spoken on a podcast in person and stuff, or I guess through voice. So this was something we just we enjoy speaking about every now and then. Um, so next podcast, unless if it's another solo, but our next confirmed guest is Pizza Man, which I think that'll be
oh nice.
yeah, yeah, that'll be interesting. Especially go over his stuff from me and him that happened, and then your thoughts and stuff. I think that's a good conversation we're gonna have.
Good.
And then Floaty, he's fired. I'm just kidding, but I don't know what he's doing. He was supposed to show up, but yeah, next episode probably will be recorded this week, and maybe out this week unless he doesn't upload and you ditch again. Better freaking not. Anyways, you want to do the
Yeah,
outro?
I'm good. Yeah, I'll do the outro. Oh shit, I dropped my thing. Oh fuck, hold on. Unplug the headset. Yeah, again, thank you guys for watching it, or if you did watch it, there'll be timestamps. Hopefully, if I do the editing. I hope you really enjoy the picture I posted here. I'm just gonna post it
You're
one more
not gonna
time,
do that. No, it's
just
not
to
gonna be
show
because
that I did it.
if he,
Thank
okay,
you,
he's
thank you
gonna
very
email
much.
you this, and I want this episode to be out like within the next 12 hours. And I don't even think it's gonna make that if you edit this. I don't even think the picture's gonna
No,
be right there.
it will. It will. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of this continuing, I do want it to. I love talking about American boxing history, but also um, in the unreleased episode with me, Zane, the babies, and Cal, it was really fun just like talking about real
Yeah,
life things,
it was.
just going over just random stuff in life. And it's just something I really enjoy. This
Yeah,
obviously, I do like most of the community. I think a lot of these people are really good people. And
audio
so
sucks.
it
But
is an enjoyable thing to do. And I hope that we can continue it. Now that I have my controller, I'm not going to disappear unless I do. I'm kind of crazy like that. I won't though. I'll try and stick around, and hopefully we make more of these, and hopefully y'all
yeah,
enjoy them. But yeah,
yeah,
that's all from me, and you guys
yeah.
have a great day.